Good morning and welcome. It's Wednesday, the 28th of July, 2021. It is 8:30, and I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM. The OG stands for OG, I'm old. My birthday's coming up, August 4th. Y'all have to get me presents. Now, before we go any further, content warning, I will be addressing two sort of controversial news stories that have come across my desk in the last 24 hours. One regarding Sandy Peterson's comment, and the other regarding what's going on over at Blizzard with World of Warcraft. So if this is a topic that upsets you or triggers you, please stop watching now. All right, so it's time for some updates on the tabletop role-playing game news. Apparently there's been at least 3 stories that have happened since Monday, so let's get right on it. 1 good, 2 not so good. But both of the not-so-good ones are, I don't know how accurate they are. So, first the good news. Games Workshop has given their staff a €5,000 bonus. I don't know what that is in American money, but it's 5,000. Games Workshop has about 2,600 employees all over the world, including the shop workers, model makers, designers, and support staff. And each of those employees was given a bonus of €5,000. This comes from the €2.6 million profit share that Games Workshop had over the past year. They had to close several of their stores, of course, for pandemic, and lay off a lot of their staff because of the pandemic. And in response, they have decided to help their employees out as much as they can by taking the money that they got over the past 2 years and redistributing it to their staff, wow, thank you very much, Games Workshop, for being awesome and trying your best to take care of your employees in this bizarre, hard time. I mean, I'm sure that 5,000 helped a lot of families make it through a tough winter. So yeah, I mean, we wish we could give everybody more, but at least they're trying. So yay, good news. Okay, now the not so good news. We have 2 controversial stories that have come across our desk. One is regarding a statement that Sandy Peterson made that is being considered transphobic, and Chaosium is apologizing for the statement and trying to distance themselves from Mr. Peterson. And the other is a recent lawsuit against Blizzard/World of Warcraft for some racist propaganda that apparently Blizzard indirectly made available. As always with these kind of stories, content warning, because they do deal with sensitive subjects. It's not these are not topics I like talking about, but they are topics that affect the gaming world, and unlike a certain other topic that I chose not to speak about because reasons, these topics, at least both, have some level of actual documented proof behind them, so they are a little bit closer to my wheelhouse in that they are sort of news-ish. So the first, of course, because of the Olympics is going on. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the Olympics are happening. Every time I turn on the Olympics, it's volleyball. But yes, the Olympics are happening in Tokyo. Sandy Peterson tweeted a comment about transgender athletes competing in the Olympics, as if this is something new, even though transgender athletes have been competing in the Olympics since the year 2000. And he said some things in this tweet that a lot of people took as transphobic. And I understand the intent of his tweet. I read the tweet. I understand what he was trying to say. But the way he said it, unfortunately, was very racist, very transphobic, very just, whether intentional, unintentional, very upsetting about athletes and, women athletes and genetic superiority and lots of things. And even though maybe he didn't mean it that way, it came across that way. But we have to understand that he's from a different generation and he sees things differently than maybe people who are more politically and culturally aware today. And he's just, as with many of the stories that are coming out lately, there's just certain individuals who need to have their Twitter monitored by the companies they work for. And, in fact, most of the major companies, if they have any interaction on Twitter with the population of nerd culture, probably needs to have a public relations office, even if it's just one guy who's working for free, to monitor the Twitter statements of their employees, because like in this case with Mr. Peterson, what might have been in his mind harmless was interpreted completely the wrong way. Now, I don't know for certain anything more about Mr. Peterson and his political beliefs or anything like that, or what he is like a person. I can only go by the tweet that he posted. I can see the intent of the post, and I can see, because of the wording he chose to use, it is very upsetting. I mean, it can be interpreted as a very ugly statement about transgender athletes, female athletes, black athletes, stuff like that. So that is in the news. And of course, Chaosium is now apologizing, backpedaling, distancing themselves from Mr. Peterson. I'm sure he'll face some sort of punishment, and basically saying, we're sorry if our product or what he said upset you. Obviously, we don't agree with that. We support transgender athletes. People are people. We support you no matter what you do, who you are. We love you. Our game is 100% inclusive. Nothing about our game or our product should accept you, except, of course, the fact that it's about tentacles. And that's the only thing about Call of Cthulhu or any of our products that should upset you or trigger you is, tentacles and Cthulhu and going insane. So, yeah, that's in the news. And obviously there's going to be fallout from that because it's just a subject that has been so prevalent in the world of our hobby for the past couple of years, and it's instant trigger bait for several people who are going to just see it and attack Mr. Peterson and dig stuff up out of his past. Now, I can neither condemn or condone his tweet because that's not my place. My personal opinion on what he said doesn't matter. As always with these situations, I can sort of see what he was trying to say, but just the way he chose to say it was interpreted as very harmful to several individuals, and I can see why it would be interpreted as harmful just because of the way he wrote what he wrote. So yeah, as somebody who has made mistakes, sometimes before you tweet something, you just really need to rethink it and go over it and read it in your head out loud and go, oh, wait, that sounds really bad. Maybe I should rewrite it. Or maybe he did mean it. Maybe he did intend it. I don't know. In other news, moving along with our continued controversial topics of the week. Hey, wasn't that cool that Games Workshop gave all their employees a $5,000 bonus? They didn't have to, and they did. Way to go, Games Workshop. You fucking rock. Blizzard is in the news. Oh, wow, Blizzard. I didn't know they were still around. And World of Warcraft is in the news because apparently there's a lawsuit going up against Blizzard, Activision, and the creators of World of Warcraft because certain individuals have found things within the game, certain places, certain encounters, certain individuals, certain NPCs that they have perceived as racist. In addition, there are several complaints about things that have been said in general chat on the various servers that several individuals have feel that the chat needs to be monitored better, that racist and hateful posts are being posted on chat and sexist and harassment. And yet, having played World of Warcraft for a long time, Baron's chat is infamous, as we all know. Anybody who's even vaguely aware of the chat feature on World of Warcraft, it is a hotbed for just every possible subject that you can think of, and people will say things, whether they mean it or not, just to incite, get heat, so to speak. So as far back as, original OG basic Warcraft, where they, you had the chat function. Yeah, it was just a hotbed of controversial topics, and I assume over the years, it has gotten much worse. In addition, so there's a lawsuit because people feel that chat needs to be monitored better because they were harassed, and that there are certain aspects of the game that were perceived as racist or inappropriate in today's time. So there's a lawsuit, and of course, in response, Blizzard has posted an apology. They have said they're going to address down the employees, and they're going to instate new, better monitoring, and they're going to go through the game and change the code to fix the things that people are offended by. So again, it goes back to, maybe you just need to spend a couple extra bucks on a public relations department whose job is just to monitor your chat and your Twitter and to go, hey, maybe... But if you're going to have a chat feature, you're going to have to just accept the fact that no matter what you do, people are going to find ways to harass other people and say stupid things, whether they actually mean it or they're just trying to get heat. It's just a feature when you've got thousands and thousands of people all over the world who have access to these hundreds of servers and the ability to go on these chats and say whatever they want. How would you monitor that? How would you enforce anything that would curtail this type of verbal abuse, whether it be, intentful and harmful or just somebody having fun and rattling the cage? We know it happens. And they're saying they're going to institute new plans and they're going to go through the code and change the things that people say are racist or whatever. Because that's part of the lawsuit, and they're so sorry anybody was ever upset or hurt or offended by an NPC or an encounter in World of Warcraft, and they're so sorry about anybody who has harassed or offended by anything that was said in chat over the past 30 years, or however long World of Warcraft's been around, 20 years at least. They're instituting new policies and new procedures and new individuals and readdressing how things in the game are handled in regards to these cultural issues. How you're going to do that, I don't know. Changing the color of the skin of an NPC or changing an encounter, that's easy. That's just coding. But monitoring and changing how chat works? I guess you could have a 24/7 chat monitoring team and a delay on chat. So somebody posts something, it goes to the team decides whether it's appropriate or not. And if it's not appropriate, they don't let it get posted. That sounds a lot like censorship and thought control, but I guess you could do that. I don't know how. I'm not computer literate enough to know how you would... I guess you could code in a bot that searches out certain words and phrases and automatically deletes them from posts. Yeah? Is that how that works? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I appreciate, as with always, I see what they're trying to do. I appreciate what they're trying to do. I don't know if there's a way for them to do it. I understand that they need to protect themselves legally. I understand that people could have been offended by things in the game that were made 25 years ago that by today's cultural microscope might be offensive to someone. I was never offended by anything in World of Warcraft, but maybe somebody is now. I literally don't know. The same with the Sandy Peterson story. I can only report the news. I can try and be rational about it and see, as always with these topics, okay, what was the intent? What actually happened? How could it have been done differently? And how could it be fixed? And, how can we just sort of make the best out of the current situation in our hobby? But I have no actual opinion on the matter. I can see what all the individuals involved are trying to do, and I'm very happy that Games Workshop is trying to support their employees the best they can. Obviously, issues like transphobia needs to be addressed. Obviously, issues like racism need to be addressed. Obviously, there could be things in the games that could offend somebody, And that's things we do have to maybe consider, but also in the grander, greater world of stuff that's, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to really think more about these, so I just report the news. If you want to check out somebody who is smart enough to understand this stuff and comment on it better than I can, go on over to my friend Grim Jim's vlog, because he is definitely more up to date and more up to speed on this stuff and has better intel and better ability to comment on it. I just report the news. I don't make the news, and I try not to judge the news. If this content is something you want to see more of, please let me know. If this content upset you, I apologize. Please let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs by whenever, and we'll do something crazy. Remember, it's my birthday, August 4th, so you got to get me presents, and you got to subscribe. Till next time, stay sane, stay calm, stay awesome, stay off my land, and I'll talk to you later. Yay, good news and bad news, and oh, geez, why? I don't know.